don't feel well. Oh,
And
we're live. I was just telling Izzy that I don't feel well, so you all know.
I was like, me too. But
Yeah.
it's Friday,
Yeah,
so
it's Friday.
we can rest this weekend.
That's the good news.
Cheers. Prost. Cheers, everyone. Happy Friday.
Fits very well with the headache medication I just took.
Ooh, good cocktail.
Yeah, let's see when that kicks in.
I love how many logos we have now.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too much of a logo. As you can see, I
Maybe.
got a new green screen, which I'm very fond of.
Yeah.
I love it. But it looks a little bit weird, though.
I think it's cool.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I also think it's pretty cool. I'm like really I really like doing these videos now, like giving like little product tours or stuff like this. If you just put something on LinkedIn, I hope a couple of people because then I can do more of those. I really like this.
I like them. I
awesome.
say you should do it more. Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's great. Like, people don't want to watch people do enjoy watching long videos, but you can reach a wider audience, and I think like capture people in that mood when you do these like 2 to 5 minute snappy videos. It's easy to do as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I also like to actually like show people more about how we do SEO, how we work with Write. We got a quite large in-house SEO team, so we're 6 people, obviously not exclusively working as in-house SEOs, but who have some in-house SEO tasks. We work quite excessively with Write. So, I think it's very nice to share this a bit more about how we are working and how
exactly
with Write. Yeah.
We did that last week, didn't we? With Danny.
With Danny, absolutely.
Yeah, that was really good fun.
Yeah, that was really good. If you haven't watched that show, you need to watch that show. That's hardcore technical SEO. It's crazy. Even I couldn't follow it, but I was just, oh my God, this is awesome. Yeah, so you should definitely watch it. By the way, the shout out to Armin. Armin is watching on LinkedIn. Armin Ginschel.
Hi, Armin.
Klassen. All right, I don't want to translate that. Thanks for watching. As you can see, we're streaming live on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Tinder. I don't know where we are. We're streaming all over the place. So if you're watching us, please, just send us a quick hi. We really would like to know where you're watching the show. If you like it, that's also very helpful.
Yeah.
Although we're going to continue to do it.
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
Or heart.
So yeah, it's been an exciting week for us. Lots of stuff going on, but obviously also for the SEO industry, we got quite some news, and I believe you have all collected them as you always do.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I guess today is really about just spilling the tea, talking about what's going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. So obviously, if you have something to add, please, come into the conversation, post your comments. Like Armin, best after work show. Thank you very much. It is. I believe we're the only SEO after work show. So it's easy to be the best one, but still nice. Thank you, Armin.
Yes.
Discuss with us. There's lots of news, and we really want to hear your opinion as well. So please, type your comments, your questions, whatever. Hey, Bastian Grimm is also here. Hi from Tinder. So Bastian is watching from Tinder. That's weird. This was just a joke, and now he's like, I don't know.
Swipe right. Is it right? I don't know what the good side is. It's been a while since I played Tinder.
Is it left or right? I was married before Tinder, so this is really, I'm not part of that generation anymore. Never had it on my phone, nothing. So I wouldn't know. I just played with Andy's once before. That was quite fun.
Yeah, it's fun to play with friends' Tinders.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Bastian, we don't judge if you're watching, wherever you're watching.
Yeah.
Let's let me pull your great presentation in here, and let's start spilling some tea.
I was going to start with the title slide, which would have been funny because then we have 4 inclusions of the logo. Left, right, left.
By the way, I also got the flickering one here from via GIF.
Oh my God.
It's very nice. Yeah.
Amazing. And today I'm not logged into StreamYard, so I can't see who's watching, which is sad. I can only see the comments, so people should comment and say hello as well.
Yeah, please say hello to Helly. To Izzi.
Helly, Izzy.
Hello to Izzi. Not Helly.
I mean, it's Friday afternoon. Like, things are just slowly crashing.
Being so forgiving.
So
hello
what's in the news this week?
Hello again from Austria. Hey to Austria.
Dan from Austria. Amazing. So there has been this bug. Well, it is a bug. So Google has changed the way that they have this soft 404 detection. Is it a bug? I mean, it sounds to me like they've tweaked something and it's just either gone too sensitive and it's like logging a lot of errors that aren't soft 404 errors, which happened a lot actually to me in the past, like not just recently in this update. And someone has claimed, or some people have been claiming, that this is now actually like harming their rankings.
And by the way, which is the very interesting part about all this mystery going on, then it really just affects desktop pages and not mobile pages. So obviously there were lots of theories regarding, has this something to do with mobile first indexing and stuff like this. But yeah, it's not quite clear yet. I love what Jordan Sultan here was posting on Twitter. It's actually about apartments.com, and I think he has some great points here, because I think he's trying to rank for apartments Chicago, and the category page is not ranking anymore. Instead of that, it's the fifth paginated page or individual properties ranking for that kind of query. So he definitely has a point. Worse pages ranking, and here he actually shows very clearly that the category page actually resolves in a soft 404 and is therefore apparently not shown by Google anymore. But he's actually not the only one. So we have like lots of cases actually. So at first it was really just like a weird anomaly, but now it really seems there is like sort of a pattern which affects quite a couple of websites.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it just came off that Google had changed the way they calculate this for a Google Search Console. But now it seems to be actually impacting people's rankings. It's not just how it's calculated and how it's displayed, but also how rankings are being calculated. So, yeah. Or is it just a crazy coincidence?
I mean, like there's still a verdict, to be cast. There's no verdict out there. What's really causing this? What's really happening? Is this really a Google bug? Is this something what websites are doing incorrectly, which is now being caught? So there's really no clear indication yet, which is also kind of interesting that there's no clear stance on this. But there's definitely something going on, and obviously this is quite big for lots of big sites, because if it's a 404, Google is dropping it out of the index. You're not getting the traffic anymore. Maybe traffic is going to the wrong pages. So that's not good.
Yep.
By the way, Julian Huber is watching first time on that SEO show. It's awesome. Excellent. Dude, it's only been 4 minutes. But thank you very much for the Vorschusslorbeeren, as we say in Germany. I have no idea. Somebody can help me translating Vorschusslorbeeren. Please feel free to do so.
Isn't that a berry?
Another berry?
Berry, like...
Lorbeeren. Yeah, Lorbeeren. Lorbeeren is Lorbeer English. Wait, Lorbeer English is laurel. Really, laurel. Never heard
laurel, like the thing that Caesar wore on his head.
Yeah. That's laurel. Yeah. And Vorschusslorbeeren. Vorschuss. Oh, I can't even.
German is a beautiful language. You
awesome.
Just shove those words together. We do have a lot of Germans and Austrians watching again.
Advanced praise. I mean, like obviously I couldn't know that.
Advanced praise.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Julian, for the advanced praise. I think Vorschusslorbeeren is much better wording here. Just putting that out there.
That's fine. I understand.
The English language.
Yeah, all good. Diepel ist dein Freund.
That's it.
Genau. Okay, speaking of German, our friend Hans Cronenberg posted something in German, which I don't know.
This is
So
actually
you have to
also,
explain.
this is actually a German example of that soft 4.4 issue actually also happening in
Oh,
the
it's
German.
connected.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And in this case, it seems to be something from, also in the former article you just had on your slide, this was actually, Barry was mentioning Olaf Kopp, a German SEO, who's, and he also tweeted at John Mew with that specific example, and actually Hans actually pointed out that site, and Olaf was responding in the comments that he doesn't want to comment. So I guess this is the site which he's talking about, and yeah, and this is actually quite a huge website, right? This is Rossmann.de. This is a huge website.
Yeah, it's a drugstore in Germany, a huge chain.
Yeah, so like a CVS kind of chain in Germany. And as you can see here with Systrix, you can see that they lost quite some visibility in desktop SERPs, but in mobile everything's fine. So this is like the exact same thing that seems to be happening across the board, also in Germany for Rossmann.de. And there's some rumors about what this could be. This could also be some A/B testing going wrong kind of thing, right? This could also have an impact. Also, it's really interesting to follow this story and also what's happening here with Rossmann.de. And again, I was like I was surprised because when I saw what John Stone was posting about apartments.com, again, I thought this would be like an isolated single case kind of thing. But since we also see reverberations of this happening in Germany, we can really see this is probably something that affects sites globally. So yeah, definitely very interesting to follow this topic and really see what's going on. I mean, I haven't seen it with all the analysis work I've done over this week. I guess also nobody in our technical SEO team has said anything, so we haven't seen these kinds of issues yet. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and if anyone in the audience has been seeing this and wants to share their experiences or needs a helping hand checking it, just let us know.
Well, please do. I would love to get my hands on an actual place where you can really see, okay, what's going on. And especially watching this in Google Search Console, like really see with Google Search Console data, what's going on. Can you really see a difference between mobile and desktop search here? I would love to dig into this data. So if you have problems with that, please reach out to us. That'd be awesome.
Definitely. Okay, cool. So there was recently a paper published by Google, which Roger analyzed, and this goes into detail about how difficult it is to answer questions that need longer and more nuanced answers, and that this is actually a shortcoming that Google is facing, and also Facebook as well. So standard questions with like a quick answer are very simple for the search engines to answer, provide this fact. So like, why is the sky blue? But for more long form answer and questions, like these examples here that I took as a screenshot, it's so much harder because the questions demand answers in the form of paragraphs, not short text. So we found this article very interesting. Yeah, what do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a definite distinction between these, what they say, factoid open domain question answering and long form question answering. So obviously Google is very good at how tall is the Eiffel Tower, how tall is Marcus Tandler. I gotta Google that real quick. How tall is Marcus Tandler? Let's see if they find a result here, because I'm quite Yoda-ish.
No,
you can't find anything here. No, that's okay. Let's say in German. Wie groß ist Marcus Tandler? No, doesn't find anything.
Damn, you need to optimize your knowledge graph.
Oh yeah, I should optimize for how tall I am. Yeah, so many people searching for that.
Weekend project.
So yeah, but I was just saying, like, okay, if you have like a well-known entity, an entity that's within the free base, you probably get a lot of the facts which you can answer within such an factoid open domain question, because there are certain facts about these entities. But when you go into like very much deeper and really like have sort of a long form question, a more complex question, for example, it's mentioning something in the research paper. There's a mention of what is actually fire, right? I mean, like, what is fire, right? I mean, like, you're on fire like every day.
I try, not every day, but
But what is fire? And obviously this is what exactly fire is fire in detail? How can light and heat come from something we can't really touch? Or why do Britain and other English Empire countries still bow to monarchs? What real purpose does the Queen serve? And this is like a quite complex question, which can also be a bit opinionated, I guess. Like, also, there's really like no right or wrong, but there can be certain...
She's a tourist attraction.
There's just right on. Yeah, and why do we feel jet lag when traveling east, right? There's so many tidbits of information in here, right? That you have jet lag, the concept of jet lag, but traveling east in regards to traveling west, and like there's so much stuff going into this, and then there's even more complex things. Like I actually used this example 10 years ago in a presentation to illustrate what kind of answers Google would like to give in the near future. For example, if I say, give me all digital cameras with more than 4 megapixel that are less than 300 euros, or that kind of stuff, right? Other that you really find like a complex question, complex attributes, and really want like a definite answer kind of thing. This is a big problem. And in this research paper, Google is like clearly saying, okay, we have definitely some shortcomings in this with these kinds of questions, and this is what they're working on. So while it seems Google is already this answer engine, right, there's still a long way to go, and obviously not only for Google SEO,
which is good for us.
Yeah, this is perfect for us. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, like Roger would say, oh, it's such a shame, and like, yes, it is a shame for search technology, but this would be even more of a killing blow to content publishers than, existing featured snippets and those types of enrichments. Like if Google is able to extract a long form answer with the assistance of a page or a collection of pages. So this like reminded me of a kind of featured snippet that you see in Bing. So where they take different perspectives for a question. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of similar, but not the same, because this is more like an opinionated question and they're trying to pull it from different angles. So like a nutrition blog that's saying coffee is good for you and another blog that's saying it's bad for you. Maybe this could be a different direction for them to take, where they're like actually like piecing together some kind of answer with results from different articles that cover this question in different ways. So this is, what it kind of reminded me of. Let's see, this could be really harmful though for content publishers.
But great point here. I really like what Bing is doing, especially if there's really two sides of a story. Here. By the way, Armin, or as I like to call him, the Ginchel, is actually dissing me here in the comments. He's saying Kopf größer als ein Dackel. So one head larger than a Dachshund. I think.
Oh, you're not even that sure.
How big Dachshund is, but yeah. It's Dackel, Dachshund.
Yeah. We call them sausage dogs.
Please don't do that. I would have spent like all my keyboard.
It's true. We do call them sausage dogs because they look like sausages.
Right on.
Yeah.
Moving on from dissing me. Again.
We have more stories from Search Pilot.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yes, so we do like covering their tests in this show because we're big fans of A/B testing, and we love the product and we love the guys working there. Guys collectively for everyone. And what they've been testing recently is adding Easter messaging to title tags and meta descriptions before the Easter weekend. We have some German examples, very German show today. So, and I couldn't even see it. And I read a little bit of German.
It's in the description.
It's in the description,
yeah. And this is actually my point here. So it's in the description. And also Flüge von Frankfurt nach Tokio mit Flightco vergleichen mit günstigen Flugtickets finden. And the new one from Tokio vergleichen günstigen Flugtickets live über die Ostertage, so over the Easter holidays. Also it's very, I don't know. Also it took me a couple of seconds to actually find it. So I was actually like, in this case, I don't know if that would really make a difference. And the Spanish case, they actually put it into the title. And the surprising result
was very negative.
Very negative. While everybody was thinking actually, wow, this should have like very good impact. I think, what was it, like 64%? So 2/3 actually said this is going to have a positive impact And only 10% assumed this is going to have a negative impact. And I would have been on the positive side as well. But I think it also says in the conclusion that maybe this could also, especially having like very present in the title, could actually scare off a couple of people who are not looking to book something over the Easter holidays, but rather like further down. It's
very presumptuous.
That's it. Could be there's only like an Easter campaign page. I actually want to do this at another time of the year. And it also says the Easter messaging wasn't a significant enough factor to outweigh the negative impact it had on other keywords. So it actually distracted from sort of like the main keyword. I was really surprised. I totally get like the second argument regarding that somebody is just looking for a different time frame, but I was really surprised it had such a negative impact, actually.
I think I recognize this snippet. I think it's EasyJet.
Oh, this isn't the actual brand?
No, they have to hide the brand. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually thought it's Flight Co. whatever, and it's like I didn't know those guys. Because that's what is the brand not good enough? But again, why would it be like
perfect time to start a flight company, right?
It's EasyJet. Yeah.
I think so. Like I used to browse a lot of flights, and I'd always go with EasyJet because they're so cheap.
Wait, where are you flying right now? I mean, just
no.
Before
this madness.
So 2 years
way
ago.
back when. Yeah. Going back to Manchester.
Crazy
and stuff. Yeah, funny. Interesting, though. I love hearing about the negative tests because those are very important learnings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So not including Easter in our titles. So optimizing meta description over the Easter holidays, probably not a good idea. We're staying with the
we can test it. It doesn't work for EasyJet, but maybe it works for us.
For SEO advice?
Yes.
It's really like joking, but thanks for picking up that joke.
Special Easter SEO advice. It's cracking.
All
Get
right.
it? It's cracking.
Cracking?
It's excellent. Cracking is like British for really good. And you crack an egg.
Yeah.
My humor is lost in Germany.
Oh,
anyway. Okay.
You're so cracking today.
So, no, you'd say it about a thing, like that's cracking.
Oh.
Cracking.
Okay. So you're not cracking.
Like, you know, our Germans say geil.
Geil.
Wie geil ist das? Yeah, you'd be like, that's cracking.
Actually, Belly is saying geil now. Also she picked it up in kindergarten, and now she was like using this like all the time, and it's like a bit weird. Like because she's also using it like not appropriately, let's say like this, right? It's like very, what? Yeah.
Kids are funny.
Yeah. Also apparently grandma is geil, which she didn't approve of. Yeah. Again.
This joke is lost on the Germans.
Homeschooling. Yeah.
Okay, so an article in the Wall Street Journal this week mentioned that, and I can't read Wall Street Journal articles because they're paywalled, but I read a bit that it is now forbidden to de-index and block robots, block search engines from assessing your pricing as a hospital, right? I can't understand this concept because I live in Europe and I feel really sorry for the US citizens.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite they're all vaccinated while we're still sitting at home, but that's a totally different topic. Not going into politics again. Never going to do this again. So now that the orange guy is gone, everything's good now. I won't complain. But so in this case, this is actually, I think this refers to no index. So in that case, actually there was pricing information on those pages, which was actually no indexed. And it sounds very non-technical in this article. I'm trying to.
I pulled the quote. Hospitals used special coding that shielded such information from Google and other search engines.
Yeah, special coding, no index, and so this is not allowed. They have to have those prices indexed so people can actually find them, can compare them, right? I mean, it's the most expensive healthcare system in the whole world. So it makes a lot of sense to be able to compare those prices, before you ruin yourself by having a life-saving operation. It sounds like a joke, but that's actually the case.
It's so shady.
It's horrible. Also,
it's awful.
Have you watched what was it? What's the guy Fahrenheit 9/11?
Michael
Moore. Michael Moore? Yeah, should be Michael Moore. I think you're correct. And he had also this documentary on the U.S. healthcare system, and it was just scary to watch. So there was a guy who cut off 2 of his finger in a work-related accident, and then he basically went to the emergency room, and they told him, well, it's like about 20 grand for each finger, and he just had 20 grand, so he was like, he had to choose which finger should we save, right? And this, like, are you freaking kidding me, right? And you have this, actually in America, you have that term, the working poor, because I think 1/4 or 1/4 of the population is actually has no health insurance, right? I think it's 1/4, and you have these working poor who are basically can live right now, but they are one accident away, for example, like having like a life-saving operation or anything like that, and having to pay for that. So they actually, don't have any money anymore, lose their home, lose everything because they had to pay for that thing. So it's the working poor. It's like, oh my God. And this is a first world country we're talking about. But again, we're talking politics. I'm sorry for this. This is just, so don't no index. It's actually here required by law now that you can't no index these kinds of pages.
Sneaky. Oh, this was interesting. So in a recent Google Hangout, John Moo recommended that if you have your money or your life content and non-your money or your life topics on the same website, that you should separate those in a way of proving that trustworthiness, that EAT to search engines even further. Like, they don't aggregate the domain, they don't create like a score, like an EAT score. It is just really a way of supporting Google's understanding of your website. So I just pulled a quote from John. I was supposed to put in the Hangout link there, but you can see it in the article. I think if you have a website that covers very sensitive topics as well as very trivial topics, then it's always going to be challenging for Google's algorithms to figure out how to deal with that website. So regardless of anything around your money, your life, or EAT or anything, if you have this mix of very polar opposite, almost with regards to content, then I would assume that Google's algorithms are always going to struggle with figuring out how to rank your website.
But Suganson just dropped a comment. He's actually watching on Facebook. Hey, Suganson, great you're watching.
Hey, Sugan.
We actually, if you stay a little bit longer, we're actually also talking about keywordinsights.ai. It's actually at the I think you put it at the end because our tour and conference recommendations are in the end. But we're definitely giving a shout out, obviously.
Yes.
I hope people can still sign up, because this is what we're going to try to encourage people to actually sign up for your beta. Yay. All right, let's go. So, yeah, bear with us.
Exciting.
Awesome. Great.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this part about the EAT because it kind of made sense to me. And also I was trying to consider this process of domain splitting, which has been discussed, like maybe not in the most recent of years, but there's been cases that worked out incredibly well, like finance, medical advice, splitting off like from these big aggregators, and that just working out so well. But I couldn't think of a live example of a website that has really, high your money or your life topics and like really trivial content at the same time as well. Do you know of any?
So I had a very interesting case. I think you know what I'm talking about. So where we're auditing the website, and there was actually some impact from the core update. So I was like doing like a normal core update analysis. And what was quite interesting was that this was like a sort of like a news publisher, a heavy content publishing website, multi-thematic. Is that a word?
It works, sure.
It works. Yeah. Thank you. So it covers multiple topics. And the interesting part was that you had like topics like home improvement, do-it-yourself kind of stuff, which was like working with the normal core update kind of logic. So there were lots of tests being made. Some of them were just, they didn't get any clicks. So Google actually adjusted these rankings. And there was actually a section on actually health-related questions for women and birth, that kind of stuff. So this was what they were focusing on. And this was actually, totally sort of like shaved off the earth, right? So this was like, there was no adjusting of keywords and what's working and what should. This was like, I don't like that content anymore. It was like totally done. And this is crazy because that really made that audit quite hard, because you have these conflicting signals. But it was that time when I was actually looking at that specific section separately that I could see, oh, now all of a sudden makes sense. So this was like normal core update happening here, and EAT kind of update, let's say like this, what's happening on that side. And so I think John is making a great point here, and actually saying, you really have that kind of stuff, you should really separate that, because I would question, in that case, this was actually a very well-known site, but again, not very much for these your money or your life kind of aspects, right? They were more like had that strength in another topic area. So, but still, they had a great authority, so it was still manageable. So to, but I think like for like smaller sites, this could be just that Google would like also über einen Kamm scheren, also shave you over one comb. Does that make sense?
Not at all.
Makes sense. Okay. I'm not, whatever. So I still hope you get the point. So I think that is a great point here. If you have that kind of situation, it would really make sense. At least maybe put it on a separate subdomain, sort of like having sort of like a bad bank, right? That would work. That would work too. Also, very good point by John.
Yeah, I like it. Also in the news, actually, Martin Splitt told us this week that the cache view is an unmaintained legacy feature, despite the fact that it's very prominent and still, I think, widely accepted by website owners and SEOs.
Absolutely. I can't believe it. When I read this, why would they do that? Why would they get rid of the cache? I mean, it provides so much value. At least I think
they're not getting rid of it.
Rank in, you can look at the cache. Oh, look, this is like a 2-month-old cache. No wonder my new content isn't converting, because it hasn't been indexed yet, apparently, right? So there's so many situations where I will look at the cache, and never mind these situations with hacked sites. We also have seen, especially this week, some very interesting cases regarding the 301 bug, kind of like hijacking sites kind of thing, where it was also very helpful to actually have the cache, right? So I think this was really something going on besides the soft 404 thing, which is really busy this week. And this is also where the cache was quite helpful to actually see, oh my God, the site has in fact been hijacked, because they could actually see the cache from the hijacked domain, but the new site, the hijacking domain, actually was ranking and was substituting their results. So this was super interesting and quite hard to figure out without the cache. Right.
I mean, they're not taking it away. They just said that it's like unmaintained, but that sounds to me like it's going to go soon.
Yeah.
I had a really interesting case recently where one site was wondering why they had the date snippet, because this is really sensitive, and this was like a travel website. They didn't have the structured data. They didn't have the date mentioned anywhere on the page, and it was from like a year ago. But then when you check the cache page, the booking calendar was still the version with that date on it from a year ago, which to me was like really weird. But like, why isn't Google? I mean, the cache does not equal like what is indexed. We know that, but it can give some indications when there are bugs like this. Absolutely. Not bugs, but minor issues. So I was like, what is going on here? But without that feature, I wouldn't have known what's going on.
Yeah, it would be very hard to figure out. By the way, talking about bad dates in SERPs, I also hate when Google is pulling the date from the YouTube video that has been embedded in an article. And you're like, oh, that article is from 2008. No, the video I embedded in 2008. This is so absurd. And you can't even get it out, right? You can't even get it out. Google will still display this as long as you like integrating this. Is this like, why are you doing this? And why can't I opt out of this kind of thing. It's like, wow. Yeah.
I think people implement FAQ structured data just to like hide their crappy and false date that Google is pulling themselves, because that is one way of overriding it by having a rich result. But you can't always add a rich result if you're not like a recipe or a product page or whatever. So an FAQ rich result you can add in and override it. So that's awesome. The workaround. Yeah.
By the way, Armin the Ginchel just said with the alles über einen Kamm scheren, so combing everything, like whatever.
Teaching it with a broad brush.
I've never heard that, but apparently that's the thing.
Thank you, Armin.
I love it. Thank you, Armin. And by the way, Suganthon also jumps in. Google's logic, remove everything that's useful. Yeah, but he's got a point, right? I mean, like I'm trying with this. I want the cache, right? But as you said, it's not going to be maintained anymore. Sounds a lot like RelPref Next, where they're like, oh yeah, we haven't used this in like 5 years. How is anybody still using this?
Yeah.
Come on.
Structured data testing tool. Like, what? You guys are using that? We made the rich results testing tool. Why aren't you using that one? It's so much better.
Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yes.
By the way, Frank is asking, did I miss the info on product update? Have we talked about the product? No, this was last week, right?
That was last week.
Yeah, Frank, you can lie down again. This was last week. Yeah. You missed that information by just 7 days. But glad you're here again.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Project Bernanke. How do you say it?
Bernanke. Yeah, Bernanke. He used to be the U.S. Federal Reserve chair, I think, like in the early 2000s, 2005, 2006-ish, for about 10 years, if I remember correctly. So why they call it like this, I have no freaking idea. And this is actually a bombshell. This is a real bombshell happening. And the funny thing is that this is actually due to the fact that the law firm working for Google apparently did some errors with redacting important information in a document they submitted for an antitrust case and taxes. And then you could actually read what Google was doing. And this is actually the talk about this Project Bernanke, which really gives them a unfair competitive advantage with a very interesting form of insider trading. Because in Google's case, it has they have the problem that they are on the one hand a ad tech business, so delivering the ads, and on the other hand they also sell inventory on Google, on YouTube, on wherever, right? So they're cashing in from both sides, and so I hope I got it right, but if I can give an example of how this works is, for example, you have a roofer from Munich, right? So the roofer from Munich is actually advertising via Google, and then you have somebody else advertising for the same person, also the same audience, via a third-party ad network, right? So, or with the Google ad network, but on a different publisher. So, and in this case, Google would only cache the network fee, so to speak, right? In the other case, actually, if they would win that, right, although the roofer from Munich is actually paying less than the other guy, they would actually get the network fee as well as the money for being the publisher here, right? So they actually can cash in twice and make more money with that user. So obviously they would like it if they could, get this guy's business, although he's bidding less than the other guy. And I mean, this is an auction. Normally you would expect the guy that bids more actually get in the bid, but in this case, Google makes less money. So they would like to get this. And this is actually what was happening. I really hope I laid out the case the correct way.
Yes.
And this is really problematic. And it gets even worse because they also talk about a deal with Facebook called Jedi Blue, which, by the way, is also very interesting. You have this Project Bernanke, Project Jedi Blue, right? It also sounds like, look at these geeks, coming up with like funny words. But this is actually causing huge impact on the whole ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
and especially JDA Blue, which is basically a non-compete with Facebook, saying, hey, let's not compete and with that kind of stuff, and basically giving some sorts of guarantees, so to win X amount of auctions, and they would say within the fourth year they would basically direct at least 500 million over the Google Ad Network, and that kind of stuff. So there was really, and the highest level, this is Sheryl Sandberg talking with Philipp Schindler, by the way, the highest German in the Google organization, Philipp Schindler. He's like the chief of revenue. Great guy, by the way. Awesome. I love this guy. He used to be the head of Google Germany, and now he's like one of the top 10 guys, I think, at Google, because he's chief revenue officer. And so this was like made on the highest level, really like saying we won't compete. We do some sorts of minimum guarantees and stuff like this to not compete with each other, which is a problem because besides Facebook and Google, there's not much left in the advertising market, probably like 3%, right? As I really don't know, but so this has a huge impact on people bidding, because they're actually not really bidding. This is like a very elaborate thing to make more money. So yeah, and it is a lot of money. I think you have that on the next slide, right? Because in one of the meetings, actually in 2013, they said it would bring in 230 million in revenue for that year. So that's 8 years ago. And we're talking about now, right? So it comes out now. And 8 years ago, they were already making 230 million with that project. You could probably imagine how this must have scaled.
Don't they have enough money? Seriously.
I would assume so.
Why? Why are they so greedy?
Yeah, I mean, like,
it angers me.
Yeah, but I mean, like with shareholder value, you got to make more revenue because you're a public traded company. You got to be that success story. I mean, I think there's lots of different mechanisms going on, and it doesn't always need to be also from the highest level. I mean, we've also seen this at VW, Wirecard, whatever. There's so many. I mean, like, obviously, I don't want to compare these kinds of situations, but you are under a lot of pressure, to always have the success story of making more revenue, right? And if you're already covering 95% of the market, it gets kind of hard to grow in investor-friendly KPIs, right?
Legally,
yeah. Legally, yeah. So again, this is really quite a bombshell report, and this is definitely very interesting to follow up on the story if something would happen. But since it's some sort of insider trading, this could really get interesting. And it's also attached to an antitrust case in Texas, which is quite ironic, right? That is, this information is actually within an antitrust case, right? So can't trust you guys. And it's like, oh my God, right? We really can't trust you guys. So yeah, let's see that this way. But they have such expensive lawyers and so much lobbyists working for them. So I would assume Google will still will survive, and even paying back billions, whatever. Say there's so many billions on foreign islands, right? I mean, it should be only pocket change.
Yeah. And there was this next article, which I didn't read yet, so you have to tell me about it. But this is very, very important, so I will add it to my list.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I just added it because it actually it's sort of like you have this one fire burning here, and there's like sort of this next fire. I think lots of people have heard about Google firing Timnit Gebru and Margaret Mitchell, who have been working on AI, actually on the ethics committee, which is obviously something which is very important for the whole world, for all mankind, that this AI, what Google and other high-tech companies are building, is actually adhering to ethic rules. I mean, like, also, does it make sense? Also, dass die sich an Regeln halten, also that you an Regeln halten. Ginchel, help me.
Regeln is law, like abide by the law.
Yeah, also abide. Also they abide by some ethical ethical questions, right? So you really don't want this AI, without any ethics, right? You have to contain it in some form. And these both people have actually been quite vocal about the shortcomings, what they're doing there. And so firing them, although Google is saying they actually left, and is definitely follow the rules. Thank you very much, Amin. And so this is definitely something concerning, to say the least. And what I found interesting, because I just read this as sort of like a accidentally read this but didn't really read up on it, what's really going on here. And what is quite interesting, that is already sort of like sort of a backlash here against Google. So 2 guys backed out of Google Research Workshop. A third turned down a $60,000 grant from the company. A fourth pledged not to accept this funding in the future. One of Google's top AI employees, a research manager named Semi Bengio, who oversaw hundreds of workers, he resigned. So this is really, it has sort of like the level of, Project Firefly, what Google did back then in China, where a lot of people were like really internally in Google, like really saying, we don't like that, that we abide to China's rules, to not show any results for the Tiananmen massacre and that kind of stuff, right? So there was already some internal backlash, and this is also happening here, and also with external AI researchers. Although to really put this into perspective, this is really just a very, very small drip in the pond, so to speak, right? Yeah. Nevertheless, I think it really raises these questions again for, if you're building an AI, it needs to have some ethical standards it abides to. Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Compliance. Thank you, Hans. I love those guys helping me out. I need you guys all the time when I have like English webinars going on. It's like I want to have Hans and Armin in my corner here, like feeding me those. Thank you very much.
Yes. No, I will definitely read that. Yes, so Samuel Schmidt wrote up his awesome SMX Munich talk. We did a session together this year, SMX Munich. He wrote up how he grew his blog from 0 to 15,000 monthly visitors with all of his tactics. So he has this really nice chart here with his sessions there. So he's going into like what each of those peaks were caused by. So he's giving you advice on long form content, on building your brand and network, really focusing on quality pieces. And I'm a really big fan of the content that he creates. So I'm always mentioning his web stories, AMP stories article, and how to get started with those. And he like really compares all the different tools you can use to build them. He's like created that resource that people go to for that topic, and that's something that we all like aspire to do, or we should be aspiring to do, because that's how you win these topics and win those keywords relating to them. So great job, Samuel.
Yeah, absolutely great job. And as you just said, you did the session with him together at SMX Munich, and this blog post is sort of like his presentation he did at SMX, which I loved. Because I definitely heard of this guy. I heard of that article. I actually referenced this article before. I had heard of his tool, the Through, AURUUU, which is an awesome tool. But I never really connected it to this guy, Samuel Schmidt. Seeing him in the session with you, I was like, oh my God, this guy's a genius. I love this guy. And then he really like told the story about how he grew his blog from basically 0 visitors to now like 1,530, whatever, how many. And this is a really impressive performance. And so I think this is a great article for anybody who really wants to get going. And not just, I like this, that he really just, I'm going to start a blog. I'm still going to start an SEO blog. No, he started with a strategy. And he relays it out in this article on how he was achieving this, the different pushes he was making, right? You have this AMP stories thing. You have the great piece about core web vitals. You have the through announcement. So this was really all strategy. And he shares so many good stuff in there. which I already loved when he was presenting in that SME community. For example, what he does on LinkedIn. I like that tip that he gives in the article, how he works with LinkedIn. So what he's going to do is he's basically teasing a new article he's writing right on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm working on this new article about core web vitals, right? And then you might ask a question or something like this. And then you have people engaging with that content on LinkedIn. So 2 weeks later, he's publishing the content. And now he can ping all these people that have engaged with the previous content now to basically get a head start with his new content, right? Because this is like you already have 100 people that engage with the former content, and I can basically have that head start of those 100 people, that really, now there's the article, now you can finally read it, right? And then it really gives them a head start, and it definitely had a great effect on the virality on the LinkedIn platform. So I really like this tip, and I definitely want to do it the next time as well. I really want to try this tip as well because I really liked it. So if you're really looking to grow your blog, if you really don't want to just start to do a blog, but really do it with a strategy, this is a great resource to get started on making this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just distracted by this comment on Facebook about herpes. I think it's some spam.
What? Okay, it's a pleasure for me to write this testimony about how I got my genital herpes cured a month ago. I have been reading.
Oh, congratulations, Damien!
Yeah, congratulations. I haven't.
Herpes free for 1 month.
Yeah, I haven't taken care of my genital herpes yet. Yeah, so maybe you should do this as well. So thank you for that great spam comment. And maybe he was like really thinking, okay, this is like a comment. Maybe he was like even injecting a link, and this is just the wrong form. You should adjust your bot. Just saying, it won't help me.
That's awkward.
That's really awkward. Damien Santon.
Good old Damien. Poor Damien. Poor Damien got hacked. Speaking of amazing blogs and amazing content, Aleda is crushing it like always. So this week she's focusing on critical common e-commerce SEO issues, which is funny because I'm also writing an e-commerce guide at the moment. More like a short novel. It's already 70 pages. But this is like incredibly to the point with those just commonly reoccurring issues that are so like classic in the e-commerce space because of all those like telltale features and quirks of, these content management systems, this ever-changing inventory and stock information, all of these things we have to handle. She covered it all fantastically and also mentioning right. So...
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's mentioning lots of tools, which is quite interesting because you could solve all these issues just with Write, but obviously she wants to get like a more comprehensive.
Yeah, of course. And be fair to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And she does a great point. These are like all these things in here. This is something what we regularly see and what we regularly recommend. So it's a great post to actually point people to. And as you said, like, again, she will use it as a great article. She will probably use that as a presentation in the future, right? So also how she's recycling that content and really pushing it is just like really awesome. And I mean, like, Aleda is killing it. And even more, if you jump to the next slide, so jealous. I am so jealous. This is just phenomenal because actually that she was giving a lightning talk, which I think, by the way, I love the format that Google is doing these lightning talks.
It's really cool.
One on web stories. It was a great website, but this one here, she's basically talking about the findings they did while writing for this web almanac, what she's done with Mike and Gemma Waltz. What's her name? Gemma Waltz. What's Gemma Waltz?
I don't know.
Twitter, Gemma Waltz.
You mean Jamie? Jamie Indigo.
Okay, Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah.
Gemma Waltz, something, right? Yeah, sorry, I'm not with the Twitter lingo. I'm
That's
not like
fine.
100% firm. So Jamie, also great technical SEO.
Oh, Gemma Waltz.
So not Gemma Waltz, but Gemma Waltz.
I was hearing the German V, like the waltz.
Walzer then, a waltz.
Waltz, like
Volt. Or the guy from Inglourious Bastards. No, Christoph Waltz. That's a different one. No, Gemma Waltz.
He's great. Christoph Waltz, yeah.
Okay, but it wasn't far off, right? I mean,
no, I was just, I mean, we're done. It's Friday afternoon. We've had a beer.
Talking about which?
Prost, everyone. Cheers.
That's one. And Frank is probably not drinking coffee. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning for him.
But this web almanac is so cool.
Absolutely.
They've also published on GitHub that you can like download the entire guide in a version that you can send to your local printing press, and they'll turn it into a book for you, like for free. I mean, you have to pay the printing press, but you don't need to pay the web almanac people for that.
I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it looks so beautiful, like in its printed entirety. I'll send you the link afterwards.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, but again, Aleda is killing it, and I love that she's representing the SEO community as in this case as a really go Aleda. We're big fans.
Exactly. If every SEO had to like vote for an SEO to represent the community, we would all choose Aleda, hands down. Yes.
That's it.
Yes. While we're on Twitter,
I just retweeted. By the way, I was just on Twitter. I just retweeted your post about with the live video. Yeah, should use Twitter more often.
Coughing. So something pretty funny on Twitter yesterday was a competition that SEMRush initiated against Ahrefs, however you want to pronounce them. Ahrefs, which was really interesting. I mean, interesting as in like a choice, like it's an interesting choice, simply because of, from my opinion, like you can't compare these data sources. They each have their different types of data collection. Apparently, Ahrefs is really transparent, whereas SEMRush doesn't have this documentation about their link index. Yeah. This pissing contest is not for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I was like, what? Really? And then also, Patrick Starks from Ahrefs was like chiming in, and then
Kemper, good old Kemper as well.
Kemper, of course. But also Olga was then dissing the Ahrefs, and because there was some Google Plus outdated backlinks in there, and I'm like, really? Like, what did I miss? I mean, like, and again, what's to win? I mean, like, so I found 1 million links, you found 1.2 million links, so you found 200 more scrapers that have been, like copy and pasting other stuff. Like, I mean, like, we're not talking about, you missed like these 200,000 quality links from Disney.com, from CNN.com, which obviously both of these tools will pick up, right? This is more about, I don't know, page 34 of a site-wide link in an outdated .blogspot.com blog kind of thing, right? Really? What? I mean, what? And and again, for me, also, when I'm doing backlink analysis, I'm just using link research tools. I'm afraid Christoph won't see it because he's not on Facebook anymore. He actually left Facebook and everything else. But nevertheless, so I'm always using link research tools, because what I like about link research tools is that it actually tabs multiple backlink databases, because most of the time what's happening, just like with scraped data overall, you're always looking at just a tiny fraction of the truth, right? And I think, especially if you really do like a comprehensive backlink audit, you really want to step back one step and like really see the whole picture. And therefore, you would need to tap different sources to actually find all the backlinks. And you shouldn't just use one single database here. So at least this is my opinion. This is why I'm using link research tools. And so I think this is really not anything which is something that normally concerned me. That one might have a couple less, a couple more. I don't know, because the most important ones, I would assume they all have those, right? And most of the time, it's really just like the spammy backlinks, and I don't care about those either.
I don't care. Well, I mean, yeah, and I feel sorry for that intern, that poor Nico, who's copying and pasting all those screenshots and tweeting out. I don't envy him.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's like, what are you trying to prove with this information? Seriously, like, isn't like the lockdown and Corona shitty enough that you just have to rely on slating other companies in your marketing activities? It was the same with the Wix thing last week. That annoyed me, and now SEMRush is doing it. Like, SEMRush, we like you, but
Absolutely.
yeah.
Actually, just mentioned that in a video I put on LinkedIn. I actually also gave a shout out to SEMRush, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really weird. I also saw Bartosz who's doing this with Wondery.com, and he said, okay, referring domains SEMRush 1.2K, whether it's Ahrefs 1.44K, all right. And then backlinks SEMRush 94,000 versus Ahrefs 6,000. So, okay, I get it, referring domains, and come on, really, also, you know, how to make it cool is like something, oh my God, I find this CNN backlink, which is only in my database. For example, like really like showing like Ahrefs, you missed this CNN backlink, this Disney.com backlink, this Hacker News backlink, whatever. But just just like larger doesn't, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, right? And just making this a quantitative pissing contest, you know, really makes it not interesting. If it would be about quality, I'd be totally down for that, right? Because this would be really like showing value. This is something you miss, right? But
I still, I mean, quality, yeah. But I still like, I'm not a big fan of this, like resorting to sort of slating another company to get one up over them.
Yeah,
depending on how you do it. Like, this was a very kind of obnoxious way, but that's my opinion. We're talking about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't do this. We don't talk bad about the competition. I mean, for us, it's easy because our competition is just worse than us. So, you know, we don't have to do this. Just had to say this. By the way, Saganson says, I can't believe I missed this drama. Yeah, I can't believe that either because I missed it. I actually missed it because actually I don't use Twitter, right? So it was Izzi posting this. And then I'm like, oh my God, oh what? This is why I don't use Twitter. So yeah, I also missed it. It was really just...
it wasn't that exciting. It was just like two sources of information saying that our source was better than the other.
Yeah.
I've just seen better Twitter drama, but still it was fun-ish. Ish. Armin said in Germany we say Schwanzvergleich. That's one of my favorite German words, to be honest. It means
disturbing.
Only because it's so true for so many situations. Because you get these people like, oh, I'm better than you. My tool is better than yours. My haircut's nicer than yours.
Your haircut is nicer than mine. I also wanted to wear it long like you do, but yeah,
it's all cool. We're looking fresh now. We've got our haircuts, our Corona cuts. All good. And
again, I have the same barber as my son. So my son and I, we have the exact same haircut from the exact same woman. By the way, the Schwanzvergleich. So 20 years ago, there was like a big Schwanzvergleich in Germany with PageRank. So it was like blogs being ranked by PageRank. This is like the original Schwanzvergleich. And it actually had that subdomain. It was Schwanzvergleich. I don't remember. That was 20 years ago. Somebody's calling you. It's like my dad. My dad's always calling when I'm in here. It's like, hey, my printer doesn't work. Can you help me? You're good with computers.
IT support. Have you tried turning off and on again?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, yes, of course. Keywordinsights.ai is here. The beta.
Here.
Yes.
If you guys remember, so we had the show with Suganth and his great partner.
And Andy, yeah.
We had them in our show. They were talking about it. They were teasing us with this new tool that's about to come out. And now it's finally out. So, yeah, go there and punch your email address into that form and get on the beta list because it looks really exciting. It looks really interesting. Suganth shared a couple of insights what you can use the tool for over Twitter. That's actually something I read on Twitter. And I think this is really... as a really an essential part in keyword research to really see, you know, which keywords am I tackling with what page? Do I maybe need separate pages for these keywords so they can really like intelligently cluster by intent, which sounds super interesting. Also, they made it very SEO community friendly by choosing like a very low price point. They're doing like this credit system, but still like also roll over the credit and that kind of stuff. So it's like a very fair business model, which is also affordable, also for freelance SEO guys. So I really like the whole approach. I mean, we love those guys. They definitely know what they're doing regarding keyword research. It's so important. So I can't wait to get my hands on it and really try it out, play around with it. Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations, Saganthan and Andy. Can you tell us how many signed up for the beta? Was it?
That'd be interesting. Like, yeah. And why didn't I get my thing yet?
Where's mine?
Yeah, where's Izzi and my login? I actually mentioned you in the forum. I said, Izzi, I can't wait to get a hands on it.
Yeah.
So, didn't get it yet. So yeah, maybe it's really just like it just sounds like this, and it's hollow. There's nothing behind it, right?
They got over 1,200.
Wow,
it's taking so long. Don't worry about it. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not surprised at all. But again, this shows how great these guys are playing the game. If you remember when we had the show, I was like really showing my appreciation for how these guys really, got into the scene. Obviously like people knew them before, but they really like made a big splash with the agency Snippet Digital. They were just thinking, and I thought this is a great case for a lot of small boutique agencies about how you make your name in the SEO community, right? Which is the great stuff that we're sharing and stuff like this. So I think it was a great case study. And again, in this case, you can see, how to successfully launch a SAS startup. How do you get those this initial traction, the initial demand, and again, 1,200 signups, for that kind of stuff. This is really freaking fantastic. So again, great job, and I think a great case study for other boutique agencies that are launching their own tools or stuff like this. So you definitely should keep an eye on these guys.
But don't work over the weekend. You need that time to relax.
Don't piss up the missus. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you don't need to send our invites tonight. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, that's cool. No, it's going to be on Monday because I'm not going to watch it on over the weekend anyway. So it's cool.
But thanks again.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yes, then there was webvitals.dev CLS. Have you tried that?
Yeah, I did. Obviously, I mean, like with us, it doesn't really give a good result because we have a freaking awesome CLS value. I mean,
0.
You've seen last week, right? We're at 0, right? Yes. So obviously, no ads on the site. We heard that from again, but so we killed it with our Web Vitals, so we don't need it. But if you still have a problem with this is a great tool to actually debug your CLS value. And this is coming from Willi Wiese. He's formerly a Google Search Quality engineer. I mean, it's like 8 years ago, whatever. But he used to work for the Google Search Quality team. He actually teamed up with Kasper Szymanski, that you probably all know. They're the Search Brothers, Zuglers. Actually now, they were penalizing sites when they were at Google. Now they're helping sites that have been penalized by Google, which is like an awesome twist. And Philly also built some tools along the way, and this is the newest one, and this is a fantastic thing to debug CLS. So a definite shout out to this one as well. And it's also free, so you can still donate something to Philly. I think he liked that. But it's a great tool. Yeah.
When I saw the URL, I thought it was actually a Google product because the actual domain is web.dev, and he's gone for webvitals.dev. So pretty clever.
It's very cool. Yeah, very cool domain. Because I actually thought that's an official Google domain too.
Yeah.
Vitals.dev, right? It's on so much Google.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Cool. And just as like an event shout out this week, the initial agenda was announced for SMX Advanced EU. They're kind of doing a hybrid event this summer. So all over Europe, there are hubs. So we have one at our office in Munich. There's Peak Ace in Berlin. There's the Yoast office in
Biechen. You have the Onely office in Poland.
Yes.
Right? And I really like the idea of, right now we won't be able to have like an in-person event. We can split it up throughout different hubs. So I think in our hub at Right, there will be about 12 to 15 people that can be there watching the event together with
hopefully us. By then, yeah.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
15 should actually be working. We have quite a large space in our gym down below, so that would work fine. And I really like the idea of having those hubs where you have people again, and then basically connecting these hubs. And you will obviously be there. You have a great talk scheduled here about Web Vitals.
Yes.
Yeah,
I am doing a lot of investigation, like before and after the page experience update, to see what actual impact Web Vitals had, you know, because we have all this GSE data. So working together with the data science team to get some really cool insights on this, and then figuring out like what is having the biggest impact, like in terms of technical issues, how you can fix that. That's my talk.
As I would really interested to see if something is actually happening after that like, update, right?
Yeah.
Would be a quick presentation. Well, nothing happened.
It's really funny, like all the non-SEOs who hear about it, like, oh, it's going to be like a 50% difference, like if you're good or bad, and all the SEOs are like, nah. No. It's not going to be like a core update where if you get impacted or a penalty, you just like,
Nope.
Or who knows?
Yeah, but so many great, besides you, so many great people up on stage, you know, like obviously Jono, Mike tuning in live from New York, and one of my personal favorites, also Dan Petrovich. He always has the greatest experiments. He's doing the greatest experiments, and he's going to share new experiments we have done. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I still love the one where he was like, people go into the site, and where people would go to the back button, he would basically recreate the Google SERPs, and then he would actually look for what people would click on next, and actually run some a poll on, for example, if there's a featured snippet, do you like that featured snippet? Do you think it's trustworthy? That kind of stuff. So he was putting amazing information, which we don't get because we only get GC data. So it's only about your site, people clicking through to your site, and then I can follow them with analytics. But what's happening on the servers, are like, what are people clicking on? And he was collecting this. I mean, like, obviously, you got a big slap on the wrist for doing this, but it was still worth it, you know, doing this, because he was like, okay, it's not Google, and people were thinking it's Google, right? So obviously, I would slap him on the wrist as well, but it was so helpful for the SEO community doing this kind of experiment. Also, the experiment he did regarding 301 hijacking, where it was, for example, hijacking Rand's blog and like really showing how it worked and how you could prevent it, and that kind of stuff. So Dan is really as one of my most favorite SEOs, because he's like really always testing everything, always doing these kinds of experiments. Everybody would love to do, but never does them, and he does those. And by the way, what he posts on Facebook is just phenomenal. He does all that cool stuff with 3D printing, with liquid nitrogen, and stuff like this. He built like an amazing igloo kind of thing, like a sphere in his garden. So he's like the true polymath of our of the SEO industry. So like very interesting and everything technical. He does his own music. I think he and Lily Ray were also doing like sampling,
collaborating,
like some SEO stuff. It's phenomenal. I love that guy, and I love to see that he's back at SMX Advanced with some new experiments. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. They should be a really, really good show. And obviously, if you want to join us in the right campus in our hub, you know, feel free. We'd really like to do like to welcome you there. It's going to be a great event. Yeah,
absolutely. Looking forward to it. Okay, that's all I have for the slides. But we're already over time. We had a lot to chat about.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was quite I remember like beginning of the week, we're like, well, let's see how it turns out.
Look at all the logos. It's so fun.
All the logos. And now it really, lots of news came out. Really.
Yeah, very eventful.
Because again, we haven't really talked about any of these news. We were just talking work-related stuff until now. So it was really great.
Yes,
Jackie. To discuss this. Jackie is here. Hi, Jackie.
We missed you too.
You're late. But great, you still tuned in. Great show again. Thank you so much for building those slides again and leading us through the show. And I would say
it's time for the weekend.
We really deserve the weekend. So yes. I guess you all deserved the weekend, but hulu hollow so late. Right.
Jackie hasn't earned her weekend yet. She still has like the full day to get through.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's deserved it already.
Yeah, she deserved it already, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great you're watching. Yes. And have a nice weekend. You are fantastic. You are too.
You too.
I mean, the Ginsche. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching and commenting. Besides the one guy with his
genital herpes. That was really weird for people who aren't on Facebook.
Yeah, please don't.
There was some spammy content. Yeah, it sounds really weird if you don't see the comment, but there was a weird, Anyway, it's weekend. We don't care about spam.
Wait, Talha says, I would like to know what is the impact on Google search results after the release of product page review update? Oh, that's actually a good question. And Frank was asking about this as well, because so far the only cases I've seen were actually coming from Glenn Gabe. So Glenn Gabe actually shared some interesting examples on sites that have been quite hard. I actually have to admit I have not seen like a real case myself. So we haven't been called for the rescue for anyone being impacted by this. I was really rooting for seeing something like this in the wild, but I haven't seen it. And I think it's also very US centric. It's only right now in the US, so this could also be a reason I've not seen this in Germany. But Tala,
we're keeping an eye out.
Yeah, and definitely check out Glenn Gabe's account, Glenn GLENN GABE. Glenn Gabe, great guy, because he tweeted out some examples you might find interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, and Jackie Chu actually had a day off, and I love it, that she's still tuning in on a day off. That's awesome, and I'm also quite
enjoy today, girl. You deserve it.
Absolutely, you go, girl. Excited to see you soon. Hopefully, have a great weekend. Yeah, you shouldn't do this right now because I think it's 9 o'clock for her in the morning. But maybe wine will do. I don't know. So it's also nice.
Wait, that's water.
No, don't you? Come on. What?
Prost. Happy weekend.
Prost, easy.
You need to do the line.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you've done it. We're 20 minutes over. So yeah, was an exciting 80 minutes. Thank you so much. So now it's finally time to cordially, temporarily redirect you from work to
the weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy optimizing.
Miss you all. Bye. Happy weekend.
Bye.